A beautiful summer day, clouds in the sky, lots of blue, a bicycle, and I'm out on my other favorite two wheels, my scooter, my Vespa Sprint, my Sprint 150S. I already have, I think, 3 videos on this scooter. It is turning into my favorite ever 150cc class scooter. With its Italian lines and famed history, there's a lot to like here. But this video, I want to do something a little different. I want to talk about the top 5 worst things about owning a Vespa or buying a Vespa. Now, don't get me wrong. As I've said, this is the best yet, at least my experience so far, and I'm 1,300 miles in with this, but this is my best yet 150cc class scooter. So I'm going to kick right off with the top of the 5. Normally people do a countdown. I'm going to start with the biggie, and that's the premium price, with this just being a Vespa. And they think a lot of themselves. As a matter of fact, the title on their website says an Italian style icon since 1946. And that means a lot of dollars. Italian stuff, Italian style icons, luxury goods, not cheap, and you're gonna pay a lot. This 150cc class scooter, if you look on their website and look for Vespa Sprint 150S, $5,999, $6,000. You don't have to know a lot about scooters to think, well, that might be a bit expensive compared to other scooters. Yes, it is. Other dealer brands, good brands like Honda, Yamaha, that's about twice as much. And I'm talking legit dealer brands, not the fly-by-night, side of the road, sells $1,500 Chinese scooters type dealers. $6,000 is a lot, but it is an Italian style icon. And this is one of the only 2, I believe, metal-bodied scooters. This is a monocoque metal body, goes all the way around. All of that is one metal body, which does give some justification. I mean, the styling, a full metal body, that's not cheap to make. Normal scooters are tube frames with plastic screwed onto them, so it might surprise you to learn that this metal-bodied Vespa also has some plastic. This is plastic, this is plastic, this is plastic. And so is the floorboard. Yeah, the thing you put your feet on is sitting, now there is the metal frame that sits under this, but these raised ridges, there's 3 on each side with the pads, part of the history of Vespa here. Kind of like the Jeep grill slots, there's a certain number. Well, Vespas, as far as I know, have always had 3 strips on the floorboard, so I love that they've carried on with their history and legacy there. But this is raised on an ABS or a plastic all one piece. And that wraps around to both sides. It's plasticky, so is the glove box. That doesn't make noise though, but it is plastic. I think this door is too, but immaterial. And I don't even really particularly care that this is plastic. What I care about is the plastic creaking on a $6,000 scooter. Now, I didn't pay $6,000 for this because I bought a new old stock model as they were carrying over actually a couple of years. So I got a really good deal on this, but even still, it's thousands and thousands of dollars. And the fact that the plastic creaks, and it creaks for a reason because they didn't even do it in a really good way. They have a plastic lower and a plastic upper, and screws go into the upper. There aren't even any metal inserts. It's plastic into plastic. That's guaranteed noise. And that's why it's number 2 on the list, right behind the premium price that's being paid, because I expect more for a premium price, or at least no creaking. And there's another premium to pay, and that is the service requirements and the service intervals for this iGet motor. I'm going to show you here the service schedule, and if it looks like it requires a little bit more service than the average scooter, you would be right. And that service isn't cheap. My first service, the 1,000 kilometer service, 621 miles, cost me $337.65, and I brought my own oil. I also have a 3,000 mile service. I'll be rolling this to the dealer for. I don't know what that's going to cost. It's not quite as involved, but it's still a dealer visit. And then I have to take it to the dealer again at the 6,200 mile mark. And that's a very extensive service. And I've looked online and it looks like that's going to cost somewhere between $600 and $800, maybe even more given how prices are going up. And with tariffs, this is an Italian scooter. They're Italian parts. But wait, there's more. An offshoot of this. It seems to me that Vespa just custom engineers tools sometimes where a standard tool would do it. I've seen it countless times over the years. I'm sure it factors in on this engine. Well, actually, I know it factors in on this engine. This is a prime example of what I'm talking about with Vespa. Now, when you get a Vespa new, they used to come with this little hex oil filter, but when you bought the official factory replacement, had this weird slot in it. That means a specialty tool. Now, the aftermarket filter's smart. They had a nut that a standard wrench could get to, not Vespa. Well, now they've updated that to another hex-ended filter, but guess what? That has its own specialty tool. So that makes number 3, premium maintenance, a high maintenance schedule, high maintenance intervals, and customized tools. Total Vespa. Number 4 is something I've only experienced on modern Vespas, and I don't know why they do this or why it works like it does, but that's fueling up the scooter is a whole ordeal. You can't just take the handle off the pump, insert it, put the gas cap back on, and leave. With the Vespa, you learn to do the pet carrier prop. You use the gas cap as a prop, and you do that for a reason, because I'm going to fuel this as most people would, just max on the handle, and you see that it overflows. This happens almost every single time. There is an aftermarket little funnel thing that you can screw on, but then that's another part you have to take care of. You have to put that in a Ziploc bag because it's been coated in gas. Putting gasoline in a scooter should not be a big ordeal and require countermeasures. You're going to be doing that pretty often if you ride a lot. It's a weird oddity, a Vespa oddity. I've never experienced it with another scooter. And finally, number 5, and the thing nobody talks about, I've never seen anyone talk about this, but it has been consistent on every single modern Vespa I've owned. And this is my 3rd one, and that is that the clock, over the course of a month or two, it'll slow down by a few minutes. For instance, it says it's 1:54. It's actually 1:59. 1:54. This has lost 5 minutes. Exactly what has happened on my previous other 2 modern Vespas. I had a 2009 S150. In my opinion, that still looks classy even today. But that little digital display, it would run slow over the course of a month or two. It would bleed off a few minutes for some random reason. I even replaced a good battery just to see if something was going on with that battery. Nope, over time, it would just lose time. I don't know if the Italian engineering meant that they got quartz and bedazzled it to make it Italian styling, and that slowed it down. But for whatever reason, a digital clock on a Vespa will run slow. That 2009 scooter, I traded in on a 2013 Vespa GTS Super Sport SE, a GTS, a different model. It ran slow. Over the course of a few months, it would slow down a bit. And now here we are with my modern Vespa with a TFT display. They're smart scooters, so to speak. It even tracks throttle positioning, my routes, how much gas is being used, reports the odometer readings back to the phone, but it doesn't sync the clock. I don't understand it. I don't understand why people aren't talking about it, but it's been every modern Vespa I have, and that's why it's number 5 on the list of things you need to know, things you don't hear talked about often. The 5 things: the premium price with a plastic creak, an intensive, at least compared to other scooters, service schedule, and then finally, a clock that will run slow. You know the one thing about this clock running slow? Maybe that's them engineering a way for you to think the scooter is faster than it is. You go somewhere and get there and think, wow, I got there faster than I do in any other vehicle. Go Vespa. And that's my top 5 worst things about what I think is the best 150cc scooter. Minimal things really, but things worth note, especially if you're shopping for one. No, it's gonna cost you, and there are quirks. So what do you think? Do you own a Vespa? Have you ever thought about buying one? Is there anything that has steered you away from them? Comment below. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. And also subscribe if you haven't already.